HLN meteorologist Bonnie Schneider is back. Bonnie, we heard the warnings yesterday, hit pretty hard last night, but it's not over. Who needs to be on alert today?
Well, this time we're actually going to see larger cities possibly impacted by the tornado threat. Yesterday, one of the reasons we had not as much in terms of death and destruction, even though it was extremely severe, but it could have been worse, was because many of the tornadoes came through more rural areas. But as you can see, what we're looking at now is a tornado watch that's popping up for areas into Oklahoma, certainly into Kansas, but we're also looking for a lot of severe weather rolling through the Chicago area. Even this morning, we're starting to see some very strong storms rolling through that region. Right here, though, into southeast Kansas, we're looking at some very heavy rain and thunderstorms rolling through the region. And, you know, it was such an active day. We had tornadoes reported in Nebraska and Kansas, and 121 tornado reports in total. So the threat for today includes a high-risk area right here, believe it or not, into Wisconsin. That's not an area you think of for tornadoes, and even into Minnesota. But this is where the severe weather threat is for today. All along this frontal boundary, though, we're still looking at a threat. You can see lots of moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. So while the Mid-South cities like Nashville, Atlanta stay dry and stay free of the threat, as you head further to the west, you certainly do see it, and that includes Arkansas and as far south as Texas. So we are looking at a widespread threat impacting some larger cities, including Houston and into Green Bay and even into Chicago, looking for large hail, damaging wind, and even tornadoes for today. So not as widespread of an area in terms of high risk, but unfortunately today we're hitting more populated areas. So you know, this is really a day also to take cover and make sure you have your tornado plan in place and you know what to do. If you have a basement, that would be the best place to go if there's a tornado warning. If not, go to the most interior room of your home, a bathroom, a closet, take cover. You heard reports, Susan, you were mentioning people wore bicycle helmets. That's a great idea because in terms of tornadoes, most people are injured by flying debris. And where would you get the most severe injury? In your head, hitting your head. So you want to protect your head, cover your head, and really take this threat seriously. It's a dangerous weekend.
I was thinking that when I heard that that family did put bicycle helmets on and got in their bathtub, something smart to do.
Definitely.
Still a severe threat, Bonnie, as you said, on this Sunday. I want to tell you about one family, though. Schneider has been working all morning, kind of tracking exactly where it's going now. Hi, Bonnie.
Good morning, Susan. We are definitely watching the threat for more severe weather. Even right now, we have heavy thunderstorms rolling through the Chicago area up into Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And look at this, a brand new severe thunderstorm watch just popped up in northeast Oklahoma. Oklahoma hard hit yesterday. That's where we saw the deaths from the tornadoes. So unfortunately, the threat for severe weather continues. Very strong thunderstorms rumbling through the Tulsa area at this hour. And those are containing frequent lightning strikes for sure. Heavy rain coming down in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And then across Lake Michigan, we're seeing it pop up through the state of Michigan. So waking up to very strong storms this morning. And it is not over by any means. While we're not looking at the intensity, the widespread high-risk area that we saw yesterday, we are still looking at absolutely the risk for tornadoes. One of the more concentrated areas we're keeping an eye on where there's a moderate risk, meaning 30% chance of a tornado within a 25 square mile radius, that's actually all the way up into the upper Midwest, a place that you don't think of when it comes to tornadoes, although Minnesota had tornadoes last year. And now today you're also under the threat, and that includes also further areas to the east, like Wisconsin, also facing the threat of severe weather. But this system is pushing so far south that even Houston, Lake Charles, Louisiana, lots of places are really on the risk for severe weather. And if it's not going to be a tornado, it could be very damaging winds and baseball-sized hail. We saw that yesterday. So here are some of the places we're watching. The primary risk tornadoes, damaging winds, and it doesn't take, you know, that strong a gust of wind to do damage to your home. So these are larger, more populated cities than what we saw yesterday. Green Bay, Chicago, St. Louis, Little Rock, and Houston. That's a really, really expansive area from north to south, and that's why it's so important to keep an eye to the sky, have your no-weather radio turned on, programmed to your county or your parish if you're in Louisiana, and make sure if there's a tornado warning issue that you please take it seriously. Don't be complacent. Take cover. If you have a basement, that's the best place to go. If you don't, and a lot of people in the South do not have basements, you want to go to the most interior room of your home, grab a mattress, a pillow, a blanket, cover your head. You heard of people wearing bicycle helmets. Not a bad idea to protect your head from debris. So again, here's the area where we're watching for high risk for today into Minnesota, even parts of Illinois. Severe storms are possible. In advance of the system, sunny and mild, really warm actually across the southeast. And in terms of other weather threats we're monitoring, check this out. Snow. We're seeing snow, kind of the last blast of winter, even though it's spring, and that's into the mountains of Utah, and it's something we're keeping an eye on as well. Kind of a mixed bag of extreme weather, really, across the country. In terms of temperatures today, you could really see where the battlefield is, and that's incidentally where the name front comes from, a cold front. It's the front is the leading edge of battle between two air masses. Still a weather fact for you. And you can see that right here through the center of the country. Look at the cold air coming in behind the system. Warm, moist air up in front of it, and that's actually where we're going to see that severe weather front, and that's actually happening right here through the upper Midwest all the way down through Houston, Texas. Warm temperatures in advance of it, cooler behind it. Quite a volatile day. We're going to keep it here on HLN, keep you updated. If any warnings come through, I'll let you know. Susan?
You don't think of Minneapolis as being in a danger zone, but apparently it is today.
Absolutely.
All right, Bonnie, thanks. We're also keeping an eye on all that. Let's Bonnie Schneider to talk about what we're facing today. More of this stuff. Bonnie.
You know, it's interesting to hear the comments, Susan, from the mayor. I wrote a book called Extreme Weather on how to prepare for extreme weather like tornadoes. And one of the things I found was extreme weather strikes when people are caught off guard. That's why it's always important to be aware and have your no-weather radio turned on and programmed to your county. So if an alert is issued, even overnight when you're sleeping, the radio goes off and it'll wake you up and let you know, take cover now. Here's what we're looking at across Chicago and into Green Bay, Wisconsin. Thunderstorms. We're also watching for severe thunderstorms across northeast Oklahoma. The severe thunderstorm watch box just came up, and it means that the thunderstorms right here rolling through Tulsa and on their way into Arkansas, well, these contain frequent lightning strikes, very gusty wind, and damaging hail. So take cover now and be prepared for that in Arkansas at this hour. We're also seeing heavy rain and damaging winds and strong storms just moving into the Detroit area. Normally we don't talk that much about severe weather in this region, particularly so early into the spring, but it's happening now, and the threat for cities like Green Bay and Madison and Milwaukee exists as we go through the afternoon. Notice this darker red here. This is where we have a moderate risk for severe weather. A moderate risk means 30% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius, and maybe those numbers don't seem high to you, but moderate risk days are something to take seriously. And you can see we have more of a slight risk as you head further to the south, but it's really encompassing a wide area, a widespread threat impacting some major metropolitan cities. Now, it's not necessarily to say that we're going to definitely see a tornado in these regions here, but the possibility is there. And with that said, be prepared. Really plan your day accordingly. Don't travel too much if you hear there's a severe weather alert. So the primary risk today, tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail, and that encompasses Green Bay, Chicago, St. Louis, Little Rock. Little Rock, you're getting storms right now, and as far south as Houston, Texas. So this is a long area from north to south that we're watching for severe weather, and you can see, as I mentioned here, the slight risk across pretty much the entire state of Arkansas into northwest Louisiana. That includes Shreveport, and then down through Texas, just to the east of Dallas towards the Houston area. So Beaumont will be watching for that threat for severe weather as well. Now, elsewhere across the country, sunny and mild in advance of the storms, a little cooler behind it. But Susan, this is an interesting day because we're talking about a larger area impacted by severe weather with a smaller concentration for the threat of tornadoes. But still, everyone needs to take the threat seriously.
And as you said, they could hit at any time.
Definitely.
Appreciate it, Bonnie. Some great advice.